Temple got to see some new faces in this second episode of Season 2, The Dark and Mysterious. So episode 2 kicks off with Prince Puma working out in the world-class gym somewhere in the temple. World-class. And as he's working out, you can tell he's pissed off. He's disturbed from things from last season are haunting him. You know, former champion keeps ringing in his head the words of Matt Stryker. Then Pentagon Jr. comes up behind him, and this it's kind of awkward, but it's funny, creepy. He's like, "I want to thank you for helping me please my master last week." He's like, "And you're gonna help me even more when we tag, when we, form a tag team tonight against the Disciples of Death. And then after we're done breaking bones, I'm coming after you." Said something in those, along those lines. And Prince Puma's like, okay. Tosses down the weights. It turns around and they start fighting. And Prince Puma gets the one up on him. Does the backflip kick into the jaw and then slams him up against the lockers. And he's like, you might, as if to say, you might want to rethink that. And it wouldn't be complete without a Puma growl from Prince Puma. That completes that first segment. Then we see Mil Muertes is sitting on high again, and his arm is in a sling, courtesy of what happened at the end of last week's episode. And this next segment is almost uncomfortable. We see Matt Stryker and Vampiro get along so well. But now because of the actions, from the Ultima Lucha and everything that Vampiro has gone through, now it's starting to affect him. And he's just trying to, maintain as he's doing his job. And now, Pentagon Jr. is coming back, and Matt Stryker's asking him about these actions from Pentagon Jr. and Vampiro just keeps shooting down questions like, why are you asking me? Why are you trying to rile me up? I can't deal with this. I'm just trying to do my job and stuff. And this happens throughout the whole episode, on and off. It's really interesting. The first match we have is Johnny Mundo versus Killshot. And man, the crowd is just ridiculous for this one. That's one great thing about this show. The crowd is always on fire. The crowd is never, the entertainment is great, but the crowd in itself is never boring. They're never sitting on their hands. They're going to let you know constantly who they're rooting for, or who they're, who they don't like. In this case, Johnny Mundo gets announced from Melissa Santos, and man, did they let him have it. Now, he came out alone. He did not come out with Melena like I kind of thought he was going to. So it doesn't look like Melena's going to be involved in this season. Now, I could be wrong. She might appear somewhere down the road. I really don't know. But nonetheless, he comes out alone. And they start a Johnny Zero chant. And it's loud as hell. They really let him have it. Then Killshot comes out. Oh, man. Crowd was really behind Killshot. You can tell he's definitely a fan favorite. And he certainly made an impression with me this last season, because it was the first time I ever seen this kid. And he's good. He really is. He went toe-to-toe with Johnny, and it was pretty well even, I say this match was. In fact, Killshot almost got a win on him. And the best part of the match, in my opinion, was they take the match outside. Killshot does this flip, and then, taunts to the crowd like, "Hey, did you see that?" Turns around, gets a spear from Johnny Mundo like I've never seen before. Oh my God, this spear was badass. And he's doubled over, he's holding his gut, he gets him back in the ring. Vampiro goes, he's asking God, what am I doing here? No answers, pal, you're in a temple, take it. That cracked me up. Oh man, Vampiro is quite the character. And later in the match, the ref goes down. Mundo sneaks in a low blow like I've never seen before. It wasn't just your classic, fist, or arm or whatever. It was a kick. And then he gets in his finisher, the end of the world. And how Matt calls it, oh my God, he calls it like it's like the greatest move on God's green earth. The move is great, don't get me wrong, but how Matt sells it, it's like, holy crap. Matt Striker's incredible when it comes to calling a match. He really is. Between him and Vampiro going back and forth, this is quite the entertaining episode. Especially with all the little, not ribs, but, the tension because of Pentagon Jr. and all that stuff. So the match ends, and Mundo gets on the mic, cuts a little promo against Mil Muertes, like he's coming after him. And then someone who we can't see cuts off Mundo. And he's like, Johnny. And they're looking around. Who is it? Cage comes out of the dark of the corner and gets a massive pop. And he's like, I'm 100% now. And, and he says to Mil, and as soon as your boo-boo's, healed, I'm coming after you. And then Johnny, Mundo, and Cage get into it. They're going back and forth. Cage comes right down to the ring, and quite intimidating. Gets in the ring, and Mundo, he was scared of him. He really was. I mean, Cage is just jacked. If someone like Cage's size comes up to you, you'd be backpedaling too. And then Cage does a little posing, and when he's not looking, Mundo comes back in the ring and attacks him. But then Cage fights him off pretty quickly, and Mundo retreats to the back. And, great segment. Great to see Cage back. Great to see that he's 100%. And Mundo is still one of my favorites. I always loved him in the WWE. And I see big things for him this season. Next, we get a couple really cool promos. First one is for Marty the Moth. Now, last time we saw Marty the Moth, he had Sexy Star tied up like a million times, and then they had the swinging light, and it was creepy, and it was it was how last season ended with that particular character. Now, this promo was 10 times more creepy. Everything had like a green tint to it. He comes up to her holding this giant moth in his hand, and he's talking like this, and he's creepy as hell. And Sexy Star's she's sitting in a chair this time, and she's bound with her hands, her wrists, tied to this chair, and she's out of it. She's kind of drugged or whatever, and he referenced his sister again, saying that it's almost time to let you fly again, to let you free, whatever. But this time we're gonna follow you to the temple. So we're gonna see. We're gonna be introduced to his sister soon, and I've heard a couple names out there floating around who it could be. I'm not sure, but we'll see soon enough. So yeah, good luck, Sexy Star, on getting away from Marty the Moth. And whether she escapes or whether he sets her free, we'll have to see. And then we get the introduction to PJ Black, the Darewolf, to Lucha Underground. The promo is pretty cool, and he, if you follow him on his social medias, you see stuff like he's always like jumping out of planes, or in this case he was on his motorcycle. He's always doing stuff like that, not showing off, but it's what he likes to do. He likes the adrenaline rush, and it was pretty cool. He's in this promo. He's going down the road on his motorcycle, and he gets followed by two guys, and they end up in this what looks like a little classic motel scene. And how this whole thing is shot is so cool. Then they end up fighting him, and he beats them, and he shows off his shirt. He's like, and I fear nothing. That's how it ends. Pretty badass. And that leads up to the next match of his introduction to the temple, PJ Black versus the Mac. PJ Black comes to the ring. He got a really nice pop from the crowd. They welcomed him very warmly. It was also great to see Willie Mack back in the temple. And this guy reminds me a lot of Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen. And one thing, as he was coming to the ring, Stryker said, don't let this guy's size fool you. He's very athletic, and so these two were pretty even matched in the ring. Had a good back and forth match. A couple chop contests. No one really won though, as they both really clobbered each other. And a little surprised that PJ Black didn't come off with a win, being it his introduction to the temple. A little surprised. Usually when a guy gets a debut, he gets a good pop and a win. But Mac came off with a hell of a finish. PJ jumps off the top rope, and whatever he was about to do, and Mac caught him with a stunner, and didn't quite catch all of it. You know, if you play it back slow, it looked, at first I didn't know what it was. You know, if you blink, you miss it, because it happened so quick. But that's how Mac gets the win. It was cool nonetheless. He caught enough of it, and great match though. You know, I can't wait to see what else PJ Black, the Darewolf, does in the temple. I would love to see a match between Johnny Mundo and PJ Black. I would love to see that. I think those two could put on like an Iron Man match and just, parkour the shit out of each other, That'd be pretty slick. As far as the back goes, we'll have to see. Last year he was with Big Rick and Killshot, but that whole crew is defunct now. They're not all together anymore, so we'll have to see what's up with him for the rest of the season. But yeah, Mac becoming another one of my favorites. Great in-ring work there from the Mac. Next, we see a quick little promo for someone who else is going to debut in the temple next week. Cobra Moon, a new, oh man, almost a diva. No, not diva. Better than divas. I did a little research, which is not going to help in this video because I looked it up, found her on Twitter, and I don't remember. Oh, Thunder Rosa? I think that's what her name is. Never seen her before, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of addition she is to Lucha Underground. Are they going to put her against another female? Are they going to put her against a male? We saw plenty of that last season between, Evil East and Sexy Star going up against other guys. Looked like she was fighting females in the promo. Back alleys or wherever it was. Everybody in the Lucha Ground world wears masks. No, not everybody, but interesting. So yeah, we'll see where Cobra Moon. We'll see what Cobra Moon does next week. Next, we have the main event, the 3-on-2 between the Disciples of Death, the Trios champions, versus Pentagon Jr. and Prince Puma. And Pentagon Jr. It's amazing how fans respond. Pentagon Jr. was booed all last year, then all of a sudden he's associated with Vampiro, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, everyone loves him, and yet he, how he acts in this match is still pretty heelish, how he and Prince Puma treat each other is actually pretty heelish. They're both cocky, they're both confident, they're both great wrestlers, and they're both trying to prove themselves worthy of a championship shot. Certainly Prince Puma, in my opinion, is, because of he's a former champ, so I think he should get that match against Mil Muertes. But certainly Pentagon Jr., from his attack last week, is certainly putting his name in the hat as well. And to see how dysfunctional these two were in this match, it was funny. And also, like I said before, listening to Matt Stryker and Vampiro go back and forth, how defensive Vampiro gets when Stryker starts talking about Pentagon Jr., critiquing him, So, yeah, that was interesting. We see Puma get his ass kicked pretty much through this whole match, and finally does get, a comeback towards the end. But then, of course, we have more and more of the tension between Puma and Pentagon Jr. trying to steal each other's thunder, and the icing on the cake was when Puma pulls off his finisher to win the match, and Pentagon slides in for the pin. So, and then, those two are, shoving each other at the end of the match. The trios champions go take off, with their tail between their legs. No mystic stone raised there. And it looked like Puma was ready to, just, hey, whatever, you got the win. And then Pentagon Jr. spins him around. They start fighting. And Pentagon Jr. almost breaks Puma's arm. And this was a first. We see Pentagon Jr. actually get out of, or we see Prince Puma, get out of Pentagon Jr.'s finisher. Like I said, which was a first. So that was cool. Muscled out of it. And then those two are staring each other down at the end. And we finally see the revelation of Rey Mysterio at the end. And it was short but sweet. He's talking to someone who he's obviously mentoring, who is going to take the place of... This gets a little confusing. I had to watch this back a couple times. The guy who was killed by Black Lotus at the end of last season. Dragon. I can't think what they called his full name. Dragon. And so this guy is going to take his mask and take his place. And Rey Mysterio says, well, I'm comfortable in my own mask. And then they reveal who that is. So I think we're finally going to see more of Rey Mysterio playing that mentor role. And yeah, can't wait to see where it all goes. And that's pretty much going to do it for this one. Some new faces, some old ones, and some great matches, and some great cinematography. So, yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.